Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SW Elite. We are so excited to have you here with us, and we are super excited for this time of year. This is like the highlight of the year for basketball. If many of you follow basketball in any way, shape, or form, you know that March Madness is coming. It's that time of madness of the year, as we like to call it. So we're excited to jump in and actually talk about this today. As many of you may know or not know the history of March Madness, kind of the heart, the hope, the dreams, and really what this is all about, because this is actually very applicable to all of us as athletes and as those who love sports. So today we're going to talk about all the cool things that come with March Madness. So the origins, the fun, the legends, and really apply it to you personally as an elite athlete to become better on and off the court.
Yeah, we love this time of year, and I just remember even, like, when we were growing up, like, this was something we looked forward to, and then the championship games, we all got together as a family and competed, and we still do family brackets, and we get the bragging rights, but I feel like it's not as intense as it was when we were in high school and we were all playing. But March Madness is something that can be looked forward to. It can be a time of reflection, it can be a time of competition, it can be a time just to enjoy the game of basketball. This is where the best athletes compete, and you get to see all of their hard work pay off. Kind of just how, like, when you're competing for that region championship or that state title, it's the exact same thing, but at a higher level. But when did March Madness start? And why in the world would we even care to keep on I would say it's now a tradition for March Madness. So, does anybody know the year it started? I'll give you a hint. It starts with 19. So, March Madness started, or the NCAA tournament started in 1939. However, only 8 teams were the first teams. Can you imagine that? Now think about, like, we now have, like, the 64 teams that get to enter it. Oh, sorry, 68. Well, you have, like, the couple teams that have the buy-in and then 64. But anyway, going from 8 now to 68, like, 60 more teams, that is nutty and insane. But my next question is, who won the first championship game? Any clue? East Coast, West Coast, Central? Well, if you are an Oregon Duck fan, you can hold that title loud and proud because Oregon was the first team to win the NCAA championship. They are the first champions. And some other things that we love about March Madness are the amazing buzzer beaters, the intense pacing, sweating games where I mean, they may not even be your school, but they're just so intense, and you get your heart rate up, and you're like, okay, I have to turn around, take a breath, pause, get a drink. But then you also have the Cinderella stories, and those are the lower seeded teams getting a win against a higher ranked opponent. And those games are always fun and thrilling and exciting. But as we talk about March Madness, think about why you love March Madness so much and why you keep on coming back and why you're so excited for it.
Yeah. So to build more on what Shalyse shared, for me, she nailed it. It was about coming together with friends and family and teammates, and it's that connection. It is cool how sports can bring us together. They can get out of hand sometimes, but the hope is that you remember and have those cherished memories with your family and friends. And really, I thought this was really cool when I was preparing for our podcast. One of the things that I did not know, I knew a little bit about March Madness, but I did not know that an official, so his name was Henry V. Porter, he was actually the one that wrote an article. He was talking about high school games, and he was actually reffing or officiating a high school championship game. And he called it March Madness because at that point the tournament was played in March. And it wasn't until years down the road, he said that in 1929, and then it was in 1939 that this became a popular bracket type setup. And it really has turned into some craziness. It really took flight in 1980. Hopefully, I don't slaughter his name. But Brent Musburger was an announcer, and he was the one that started using the term March Madness, and that is where it really stuck. So for some of you, this actually really has really become a thing in your lifetime if you were born in the 80s or maybe even before that. So this is really exciting, and Shalyse and I want you to know the history because then it does add to the passion and the excitement a little bit more with this. So why is March Madness such an America's attention catcher every year? Like, why is this such a big ordeal? We've mentioned a few things, but really there's a few key things we want you to think about. There's going to be three of them. We're going to talk about them. The first one is unpredictability. Here's the cool thing: nobody in the history has ever picked a perfect bracket. It breaks at some point. Nobody's is perfect. I mean, when you have 68 teams, that is a lot of guesses you would have to get right with that. Um, Really, it ties to single eliminations, a one game, one night. It could be anybody's game. And this is where team camaraderie, connection, and all of that can happen. A powerhouse, you think the number one seed's going to win, and guess what? It can fall. And a small school can even rise. And we're going to talk about some of those really glory moments a little bit later in the podcast. The second that we want to talk about is emotion. So, a lot of seniors are playing their final college games. That will be the last they ever play college basketball. Underdogs are chasing history. They want to write history. They want to be in the books. Entire campuses and communities rally behind their teams. There can be personal stakes, and that emotional investment spreads pretty fast, even if you're not a diehard basketball fan. It's funny how some people that will be in my brackets that I do could care less about basketball, and yet here they are, the ones that guess the most correct. It's funny how that works. And then the third is accessibility. You don't have to be a basketball expert to participate, just like I shared. You can be one that just puts some plugs and clicks and just goes about and does their bracket just for fun. But if you notice, it's become cool how communities want to jump in on this. People at work, even if they're not basketball fans, will jump on board. And really, it's just these matchups. Who's going to match up, how are people are going to perform, and what's going to happen. It's not just basketball, it's about hope, drama, and the possibilities of the impossible. That's what we love about it, as well as the impossible becomes possible and people's dreams are fulfilled. And we need more hope in the world. We need more excitement. And that's really what draws a lot of people into this sport.
And the one thing I think about as well, like the thought that we shared a long, long time ago, is we get to glory in other people's glory. And we may be living vicariously through them and wishing we were in their shoes, but it's also super exciting just to be able to watch and cheer people on and see their victories and doing all these things. But with March Madness, like we get the opportunity to fill out the brackets and it becomes a tradition. You also have like the social engagements, like with work and with friends and with teammates and all the fun things. And it's just all like the sports channels, ESPN, CBS, TBS, whatever you watch your sports on is like, they're just so excited. Like they're talking about it now just because um, they're all having like their end of conference championships. And so it was like, okay, like this is our chance. Like if we want to get in the tournament, like we got to perform well. But it's also like the cultural impact. Think of how like your season ends, like high school season ends, and there's like, okay, like I still have March Madness. Basketball isn't over yet. And so it's super exciting because not only are we talking about it, but like professionals are talking about it. And it's like, okay, then who's going to go to the NBA or the W or whatever it may be. But it's fun and it brings people together. And I think that's probably why we love it so much because of the community and the relationships that we get to build. And everybody likes to compete. Healthy competition is always a good thing. And it's fun to watch the lower teams upset the higher ranked teams and to be a bracket buster and to have those fun competitions. And fun fact, the lowest seed to ever win a game or go deep was in 2018. Do you know the team? If not, the team that went the farthest was UMBC over Virginia. And we could talk about a lot about UMBC, but if you do not know the story of UMBC in 2018, I highly encourage you to go back and watch their story and read their story because it's inspiring, it's motivating, it kicks you in the pants to help you do better. But it's always fun to go back and watch those highlights because it was truly amazing. It was electric. That's all I'm gonna say. It was electric. Um, but like this in 2018, there were also moments before. And when we want to highlight a couple of those because it's important to remember the history and to remember the greats that come before us. So we're going to share a few.
Yeah, the first one we're going to share is Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. If you are an NBA fan or followed basketball for some time, you should be familiar with those names. For some of you younger athletes, maybe not, but ask your parents or ask maybe a grandparent about this. This is taking us actually all the way back to 1979. So this was the final between Michigan State and Indiana State. So this was really the birth of basketball greatest rivalry. So those rivalries continue today, as you know. But this wasn't just about a championship game, it was about creating history and helping to elevate the game of basketball. And March Madness doesn't just produce moments, it really can shift eras, it can shift the way the game is played. And we're going to talk about a few of these as well. But this is what really changed really NBA basketball because then these athletes then became NBA players and totally took the NBA league to a whole new level. And so as you think about these athletes and what they did in their life and in their purpose, they really fulfilled what they were capable of doing. And it's really important for us, even if a lot of us do not become professional NBA, WNBA basketball players or whatever sport you're a part of, become professional at it, do you still make history? And that could be in how you treat people, it could be in how you change the culture and the community that you live in. That's what this is about. It was not just about the wins and the losses and the accolades. It was about who they were as people and what they've done to our world to make it better.
Absolutely. And the other one is Michael Jordan. 1982. We all know who played for the Carolina Blue, North Carolina. But the one thing that stands out is he wasn't a superstar in this game. Was he good? Absolutely. But he was just a freshman, and he hit the game-winning shot against Georgetown. And I think that's everybody's dream growing up is hitting that game-winning shot. No matter if you're a freshman, junior, senior, sophomore, playing rec ball, playing church ball, whatever it is, like we all count down in our driveway, 3, 2, 1, and we chuck it up and we hope it goes in, but we all hope for that. But Michael Jordan was able to do that in this 1982 national championship game. And I love how he was prepared for the moment. And we've talked about reps and reps and reps and being prepared and things that we can do to help us be prepared for the opportunity. And this example is the perfect example of preparation meets the opportunity. And as we all know, the world will remember your name. Um, and in a big stage like this, yes, people will remember your name. But even like going back to like high school, like what do you want to be remembered for? You may not be remembered for your crazy highlight reels, but you can be remembered for like being a nice human being and being kind and treating people with respect and being the hype person or being the loudest person in the gym or whatever it may be. But as you're preparing in the off season, are you going to take that opportunity when you are in season or when you are in a comp game this summer or playing whatever? Like with your preparation, are you preparing for your opportunity? And will you take that opportunity and run with it and put your name down in the history books? So
Yeah, now we're going to talk women's NCAA March Madness. This one, I'll be honest, I actually did not know this story until we were looking and studying for this. But this goes back, and partially because I wasn't alive yet. Um, this goes back all the way to 1983. So this is NC State and they were led by Coach Kay Yao. She is one of the biggest well-known coaches that received a lot of recognition for what she did with this team. So a lot of schools, even in the NCAA tournament, aren't supposed to win. They're not the favorites. They're not the higher seed. They weren't the powerhouse, but yet they believed. There's a lot of power in the word belief. And when you have a player believe they can do great things, when you have a team and coach and a program come together and they have true belief and are willing to put the grit and the hard work into this, really anything's possible. And I have seen this in my own life in teams I've coached or seen in family members, like my brother when his team took the state championship over a team that was much more favored. It is everywhere. It happens all the time. We just don't always hear about it or know about it. But this team, they weren't the most talented. They weren't the most hyped team. They were the connected and disciplined team. They mastered and did the little things and they trusted in their preparation and they played fearless. So this ties into a lot of things we've talked about in the past and what we've encouraged you as elite athletes to do. And they proved something. They proved that March Madness was not about a reputation, it's about readiness. And what a great lesson for each of us to learn from.
And we're gonna jump to recent times. A couple years ago, Caitlin Clark. And I feel like with women's basketball, like you cannot mention Caitlin Clark. Like you have to mention her name because of what she did. Like she literally is one of the biggest factors who has changed the face of women's basketball, which is amazing. Like she didn't just play in it, but she also was a leader through it. And we all know she hit those deep logo threes, had amazing scoring, amazing passes. She sold out arenas. Like that was the first time in a super long time that a women's college basketball game was completely sold out. Um, and there were higher viewership of people watching the women's game than a men's game. And for being a woman in sports, I was like, you go, girl, that is freaking amazing. And I hope it continues. And it has continued. Like, think of how it's been impactful, not only with her going to the WNBA, but think of how much more light is shed on more women's sports. I'd say not just in basketball, but like all sports in general that women are able to play. Like now we have a flag football league. We have the USA hockey team. Like they freaking dominated and it was so fun to watch. But like track, volleyball, whatever it is, like she put a spotlight on women's sports, and props to her. But like it just takes one person, and that person can be you. Like what do you have with inside of yourself that you can share with the world? And it can be like Caitlin Clark, and you can share your awesome basketball skills, but it may not be your basketball skills. It could be something that nobody knows about besides you, and you have to just share your light and be that person, and you will never know how it can shift a culture and how it can bring happiness and joy and excitement in everybody's life.
So, before we delve into these strategies and insights, I want you to think about a few things that make March Madness very unique. So, if you think about high school basketball, a lot of leagues or tournaments, it is single elimination. There'll be no next time. So, that's where things correlate. But in the NBA, they have a 7-game series. It's not like you're one and done. They actually get extra chances to try to pull off that win. And then there's the pressure cooker environment, is what we're going to call it, where millions of people are watching not only online, but it's streaming to phones, to computers, and you really only have one game to prove. You lose, you're gone. And then those high stakes where careers and legacies and dreams are on the line. And I mean, really, you could become a legend overnight if you performed or came ready and prepared to perform. So in March Madness, I mean, you really only get 40 minutes, right? 40 minutes and then you're done. So really, this changes everything about urgency, your focus, your intensity, and you have to come ready to perform at the highest level to succeed and to keep going.
Absolutely. And it's that preparation. Are you going to be ready for your moment? And with this, like there's things that we can do now to be able to prepare for our March Madness moment. That's what we can call it, because we're all gonna have like a March Madness moment. And as you can see up on the screen, if you're looking on YouTube, these are some strategies and insights for you, and lessons that you can apply to your life and your mindset that you can start working on in your off season when some of you are playing comp or some of you are just doing um, skills training or whatever it may be. But these are things that you can start working on mentally to help you become elite. So the first one is handling pressure. And so kind of like what said, like in NCAA, like they have one game left. And we could think of that as well. Like every game could be the last game. Like not that we want you to have any injuries or anything crazy happen, but like an injury could happen and that could be your end, like handling pressure. Like how are we coming into the game prepared? Um, Second is staying consistent. Every possession counts. Even at practice, I would add, even at practice, the way we practice is the way that we play. And it's just important. Like, we're making everything count and we're enjoying every moment and not taking things for granted. The third one is the Cinderella mindset, embracing underdog opportunities. And kind of like, I think of like Michael Jordan, like a freshman. Are you ready to step into those shoes and be that underdog? Because a lot of the time, I feel like people are expecting the seniors to be the ones who have the crazy highlight reels just because they've been there for a long time and they know the program. but coach calls you, you're a freshman, are you gonna be ready to go? Are you really ready to have your Cinderella story? And the fourth one is focus on effort, not outcome. The process beats the hype. And I think that's where we start today is what are we focusing on? Like what are we preparing for and what process are we trusting? Sometimes we may not know what process we have to trust, but it's asking those hard questions and um being ready to adjust and pivot when we feel necessary. And think about your next game. And some of you are like, I don't have a next game. Okay, your next open gym when you're scrimmaging or whatever it may be. The question is, how can you channel your inner March Madness moment? So, how can you handle pressure? How can you stay consistent? How can you have a Cinderella mindset and show people that you actually know how to do a left-handed layup with the correct footwork? And how can you focus on your effort and not your outcome? So, we're excited to hear how your practice or scrimmage goes because we all want our March Madness moment.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun with this over the next few weeks. So this is not just a one and done thing. So as we share this, really the NCAA brackets are not going to be available for another week. So start doing your homework, start looking at teams, start doing your research so you know who you want to pick. But we are actually going to have a bracket, both a men's and a women bracket link that we would invite you to join because we are actually going to give away some very cool prizes. We will have a first, second, and third place prize for both a women's and a male bracket. So 6 winners get to be a part of this. So we're excited. I feel like my bracket does really good on one side and the other side just explodes. So we're going to see how this year goes. But part of that is pick your teams, fill out your brackets, track their stats, study what you can from them to apply in your own life and or in your own game if you play sports like basketball or volleyball. There's things that apply. You could watch the team energy on the bench. You could watch how players are listening and understanding what their coaches are teaching them. You can watch their body language. A lot of times you can learn a lot about players with body language. So this will help you in your basketball IQ. So that's the first part of our challenge, and this will kind of go over these next few weeks leading into April. The second part of this challenge and invitation is choose your underdog move. We all are underdogs some way in life or in basketball. Maybe there's a skill or a technique that you're weak in. So maybe learning a new move, making your speed a little bit faster, a defensive intensity level you haven't reached yet. Maybe you need to increase your talking, your communicating, your energy, or working on some clutch routines under pressure. Or are you one that just shoots all the time without somebody on you? Maybe add some defense on you. So rep it in practice, film it, post it to the group, grow together, find a way. If you don't want to post it, you can share it with a friend or a teammate. But it's again that underdog mentality. I'm going to become better. I have something to prove. I have something to offer. I want to be better. And then the last one we're going to talk about is the momentum shift. And this is identifying an area. This kind of goes into the second part, but where do you need to improve? And own that skill for this week and the next couple weeks to be able to improve. This is what the spirit of March Madness is all about. We want you to find these areas to improve because that's exactly what these athletes and teams are doing. How do we become the best? How do we show up and perform and be ready for this exciting moment?
Absolutely. And we hope that you join us um, because it's going to be a lot of fun. The prizes are pretty sweet. As we wrap things up, like, why do you think the March Madness tournaments captures America's attention every year? Or why does it capture your attention every year? I think it's because it reminds us of something bigger than basketball. We have hope, we have the upsets, we have the belief, and we have the possibility. Sometimes you go in as a number 1 seed, sometimes you go in as a number 12 seed, but we all have that belief in our teams and in ourselves that we're going to win. And the one thing that I love about this is we don't need permission to shock the world. We already know what's inside of us, and now all we have to do is just show up and play and then let the world be shocked and have that Cinderella moment of like, wow, they're good. Or wow, look at all the work that they did. Wow, look at their bench. Look how they communicate. Look how they show up. Look how they tie their shoes. Look how they do their hair. At least for girls, the how they do their I feel like with the girls' teams, like they do their hair or they do braids or they all do something, but it could be like, look at their hair, look at their uniforms or whatever it may be. But um, whatever may happen, it's your response matters more than your ranking. Are you ready for your moment? Are you ready to shine? And that's what I love about it is March Madness gives everyone the opportunity to show who they are, to prove a point. And it may not be proving a point to the world, but proving to yourself that you can do hard things and that the preparation that you put in is worth it. You made it. You made it to the dance. And it's exciting and it's right around the corner and we hope that you join us. Um and as well, like, enjoy the electric moments, enjoy the upset games, enjoy competing against your friends or your office people or your teammates or whoever you're competing against. Have fun with it, enjoy it, and be excited to participate.
Yeah, this is a fun time of year, so embrace the March Madness. Enjoy that time and create those memories that you wanna look back on that will be enjoyable for you. And, slow down. Maybe you've been so busy you haven't slowed down to watch a little bit of basketball because it has been season. Well, maybe have a few weeks before comp ball starts or other, preseason opportunities. Enjoy this time. Learn from these people and see how others will make history this year in that March Madness it's fun. Who knows who will win? And the exciting thing is we all get to watch and learn and grow with each other. Enjoy this, have fun with it, and we are excited to continue to have fun with this with you over the next few weeks. And stay tuned for the links to be able to sign up and join our brackets. Like Shelly said, we have some great prizes in store, so share with your friends and family, and let's get going with this March Madness. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you guys next time.